Alright, number 15, we're given a value for cosine alpha and cosine beta. We're given some restrictions so that we know which quadrant they're in, and then we want to evaluate cosine alpha plus beta exactly. Cosine alpha plus beta is equal to cosine alpha times cosine of beta minus sine of alpha sine of beta. So what we are given is that cosine of alpha is 3 over 7, and it is between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. So let me show you what that is on the unit circle. 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. This is the one I like to use. So 3 pi over 2 is right here, and 2 pi is on this side. So we're in quadrant 4. So when we do the Pythagorean theorem, we need to know that sine is negative in this quadrant. So when I use those values, sine will be negative, whatever I get for sine. And then we're also given that cosine of beta is negative 8 over 9, but we are between pi over 2 and pi. So when I look at the unit circle between pi over 2 and pi, here's pi over 2, here's pi. So that tells me we're in quadrant 2. And in this quadrant, sine is positive. So we're going to have the opposite sign of the cosine function. Alright, so we're going to still do Pythagorean theorem. I think we can do Pythagorean theorem. And then we'll figure out the missing angle, and we'll be able to plug it in and solve. So for the first one, we're going to pretend that is straight. Okay, this is a right triangle. We're going to call this side alpha, and cosine of alpha is 3 over 7. And then I'm going to do another one, and this one is going to be beta, and that one was 8 over 9, and it was negative. I'll just let that one be negative. It doesn't matter right now, but I just need to know what quadrant we're in. So this one was in quad 4, so that lets me know sine is negative. This one was in quadrant 2. So sine is positive in that one. Alright, so when I find the missing side, I'll just jump to what I did in the last problem. Square root of c minus b, which is going to be 7 squared minus 3 squared. This will give me the square root of 49 minus 9, and that will give us square root of 40. And we can reduce this. We can just say that this is equal to the square root of 4 times 10, and the square root of 4 is 2. So we can say that this is equal to 2 times the square root of 10, the missing side. Alright, and then over here, we'll do the same thing. So I can say b is equal to the square root of 9 minus we'll say negative 8 squared, 9 squared, 8 squared. This gives me 81 minus 64. And then we subtract these. Gives us 21 minus 4. Is it 17? Let's verify. Sometimes I get fuzzy. I think that's 17. Where's my little calculator at? Should be 17, 81 minus 64. Yeah, okay. So we get 17, and 17 is a prime number, so that one will not reduce. So I don't know why I wrote that up there. It should be down here, negative 8 adjacent. This is the square root of 17. Alright. From there, we can figure out sine of alpha. Sine of alpha will be opposite over hypotenuse, so that will be sine alpha equals 2 square roots of 10 over 7. So we're going to be using that when we plug it in this formula. And then here we get sine of beta is going to be equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So square root of 17 over 9. Now the thing that I need to go back and say is that since we're in quadrant 4, we're below the x-axis, this is going to be negative. Okay, and then it looks like a elongated line. This is negative. This one is still going to be positive. So that's going to be very important that you do that part. Alright, so that being done, we can now plug in the formula. Cosine of alpha is 3 over 7. Cosine of beta is negative 8 over 9. And then minus sine of alpha is negative 2 square roots of 10 over 7. And then sine of beta is the square root of 17 over 9. This is very messy handwriting, but hopefully you can read that. I will reduce this before I multiply. Divide by 3, that will be a 1. Divide by 3, that will become a 3. So 1 times 8, or negative 8, gives me negative 8. And 3 times 7 will give me 21. And then we'll multiply the 17 and 10. That will give us minus, and this will be a negative 2 square root of 170 over 7 times 9 is 63. And I guess if I'd have left it and not reduced, I wouldn't have to get a common denominator and go back. So combining these, let's just go back and say that this is 63 over 24. So let's say 24 and 63. And we'll combine these, so minus and negative will become a positive. So final answer will be negative 24 plus 2 square root of 170, all divided by 63. Alright. So try to reduce, didn't need to, cutting off 163 down there. But that should be our exact answer. So division bar, negative 24 plus square root, 170. I need to go back out front, add that 2 square roots of 170 over 63.